Well, listen, Sierra, welcome to the Wine Cellar.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, I wish we were here under better terms, but according to you, you're here to expose a major trafficking ring that you were a part of?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
And so the people who, and I have to say allegedly because I wasn't there, but I mean, they are pretty boisterous about what they do. They do claim that they are pimps. Don Magic Juan, Grandmaster Virgil, as well as there's one more. Hold on. I got it on the tip of my tongue. Pimpin. Okay. It's a lot of names going on. And so you allege that you were trafficked from 2023 all the way up into 2024.
That's right.
With these men. So even though they are doing interviews like self-snitching, I guess on past, they're still currently pimping?
I would say so. Yes. They never stopped. And so that's the thing. Their whole claim to fame is that, oh, well, this is what we did, but this is what, we don't do that anymore. We want the youth to follow after, our footsteps and go a different direction. This is the facade that they've created, for whatever reason or purposes that may be,
Wow. So, I've never, there's not a lot of women that typically come forward on, powerful men like this and, who run very organized sex trafficking rings. And like I said, they do plenty of interviews. They've been on No Jumper. They've been on Off the Porch. They're everywhere doing interviews like how these rappers are sitting on Vlad and talking about all the bodies that they got and all the drugs and shit that they done sold, and feds are just taking footage and building easy cases. And so you're here to expose them.
That's right. That's right. And the thing about it is, Miss Tasha, is that the situation, as I've told you before, is already under investigation. Currently awaiting true bill or no bill with the grand jury.
So this is being heard right now, an investigation out of California. It's being heard right now on these three men.
The investigation is specifically on Grandmaster Virgil.
Okay.
Now, are there others who were implicated as well? Yes. And that goes beyond the Grandmaster. So a guy out of St. Louis, a guy out of Chicago, and then Pimpin, Bishop Don Juan. These are people that he called on the phone while we were together. So the investigation itself is specifically for Grandmaster Virgil. Okay.
And so are you a key witness in this?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm the only witness.
So you brought a case against him. You went to the police.
Yes.
Well, let's start from
the same day that it happened. Yes.
So let's start from the beginning.
Yeah, let me have a sip of wine.
Yeah. Welcome to the Wine Cellar, Sierra. Shit. Sierra, like, hold on now. We at the grand jury. The indictment is coming down. So let's start from the beginning. Like, have you worked in, I guess, as a sex worker before? Was this?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, because I don't know a lot about you.
So I'll let you know.
Okay.
This started when I was 16. Not with the Grandmaster, but it started when I was 16.
When you started working as a sex worker?
Yes.
Okay. And how old are you now, if you don't mind me asking?
27.
27.
Yes.
And so you've been doing sex work since you were 16?
Yes.
All right. On your own, or were you ever with a pimp when you started? How?
So that's another situation, but yes, and in Texas. So that individual, as of now, has received a true bill indictment.
Okay.
Also, and we're waiting to see if he's going to take it to trial or not.
Okay. All right. And I take it you were a part of that as well, too? Okay.
Yes, only witness there,
so
too.
So you just snatching the pimps off the street. You work for the feds?
No, I don't. No, I don't. Look, I don't.
Oh, it's all good. I mean, hey. You know, listen. Let's start from the beginning. Like, what was your childhood like for you to end up working as a sex worker? Like, what happened?
So, big family.
Okay.
A lot of family. A lot of my family is up north.
All right.
Also in the West Coast.
Okay.
But we moved around a lot. And I'm originally from Des Moines, Iowa, but I've been in Texas since I was about 9 years old. So, and then of course, that's how I met the pimp in Texas.
At 9?
No, I met him when I was at about 16.
Okay. Mm-hmm. But I mean, what was your childhood like? Like, you know, most kids, like my daughter, she's 17, about to turn 18, she's going to college. You know, I worked my ass off so she ain't got to sell about it. You understand? Right. What happened in your household to where you felt like it was a big family that you had to do sex work?
Well, I had 3 sisters. I'm the youngest of my 3 sisters. I have another sister who passed away before I was born.
Okay.
But with that, you know, my mom was a single mother majority of the time.
Okay.
Outside of our fathers, you know, whatever assistance she received from them via child support or you know, whatnot. My father passed away when I was about 10 or so, right? When we moved to Texas. And so, you know, I would see, you know, my mother struggle to make ends meet. A lot of things we did not have. So, you know, transportation wise, furniture, lights, food, just the basics, you know? And so that is what kind of navigated my path into that. It was more so, even though I was very young, seeing the money and having money was at that age to me like, wow, you know.
Well, okay, so your mom is struggling, and you know we get this a lot. You know, I grew up same thing, but who gave you the idea to sell your body? Because it sounds like you didn't come from that,
right?
Like, were you molested?
Of course, yes.
Okay, so that's what I'm trying to get to.
Yes, from a young age, I was molested by a family friend of my grandmother's.
Okay.
In Iowa, and I was 4 years old. He did that up until I was about 5, and so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you went to school. Was it pretty normal in school, or you just?
Well, here's the thing, Tasha. At about 9 years old, I started running away a lot.
Okay.
Yeah,
now
the time.
It makes sense because, like, we can jump right into the pimps, but I'm like, girl, like, we gotta figure out, like, how did it get to this?
Yeah, I ran away a lot. And, you know, some of that was because of the issues going on at home. You know, sometimes a lot of favoritism, you know, between my mother and, you know, sisters and things like that. And, you know.
Where did you go at 9?
Let's talk about student loan discharges in bankruptcy. Most people will tell you it's impossible. Even bankruptcy attorneys will tell you that. But guess what? We just got 2 discharged a few weeks ago, and we're going to get a lot more. So if you're struggling with your student loans, you may be able to discharge those through bankruptcy. So you should just give me a call and let's figure it out.
Have you ever noticed that since hitting 35, all the young men with their pants sagging off their asses want to push up on you?
I'm Kasim. Nice to meet you.
I'm Maya. You couldn't pay me to date a younger guy. I mean, what can he do for me?
Thick as hell.
Will you please stop using the word thick?
So, tell me about this man friend.
I'm old enough to be your aunt. He's just a baby. I think he's 22.
Well, I'm not like most men my age, or any age.
Young men can be pretty fun, though. Hello?
Good.
My girlfriend.
Your girlfriend? You gay?
I'm not some lonely old cougar looking for some young stud to take care of. Dinner was on me today.
Oh, nah, I got mine.
Is that why you're just like somebody out of Love and Hip Hop?
What's wrong with my outfit? It's a little young, don't you think?
Watch this full program and other exclusive content on www.tashaklive.com.
So it started off small. When I would run away, I would go to like a park without asking, or, go to my aunt's house without asking. It started really small, but still at the same time, my mom be like, where is she at? Where were you at? And then as I got into junior high school, that's when it became, I would go to Shreveport, Louisiana, with some friends that I just knew, in some apartments next to mine. And I think I was about 14 when I did that. And then it just became, constant. I would meet girls or friends, who were very fast, a lot faster than I was, but they were getting into clubs, they were going out, they had the makeup, the lashes, the whole thing, wearing heels. And we were probably like 15, 16 at this time. And so, yeah.
So how would you get money back to your mom? Or you just kind of left and didn't send her money? Like, because you said you guys were struggling.
When I would get money, I would come back home.
Okay.
If she hadn't called the police on me by then.
Oh.
Because most of the time she would. And so from the time I first went to detention in the state of Texas was about 13. And I went all the way up until I was 17. And that's when they finally, released me from that.
So you was just bad as fuck.
At a certain point, yeah.
And you just wanted to be grown.
Extent, yeah.
Okay,
yeah. Wanted to be grown. Yeah.
Child, how did you get that? Like, it's a sex work. So, like, okay. And so all right. It doesn't, it's not my life, it's yours, and I'm trying to wrap my head around it, but, as to how we got here, because, like, you got a major pimp on an indictment. Mm-hmm. And this is not the first time, I take it.
Right.
So the first pimp that you met, like, how did you meet him?
Do you remember a site called Backpage?
Yes.
Okay, well, later on it was seized. I think that was March or May of about 2019 or something.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah. A lot of the sex workers would solicit, and they caught a lot of pedophiles on that page too. Mm-hmm. So I used to watch it with Chris Hansen.
Yeah. And that's the reason they shut it down, was because a lot of underage girls were being trafficked as well. Obviously, I was underage on there. So that's how I met him, because on Backpage, not only did they have like the escort services, they also had a what do they call that? Kind of like a forum where people would put on there almost like a job type of thing. And so that's how I ended up meeting, I'll say his name, or what they call him is Mickey. That's how I ended up meeting him. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how long was he your pimp for?
So his program ran more like a service. So it was like, like the girls in Vegas or something like that. So that was always like a 50-50 split, where he wouldn't take all the money, but it was split.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And so you were with him for how long?
All the way up until November of last year.
Oh, shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's why I'm telling you, all this moves pretty fast. And once we get into it, it's like boom, boom, boom. It moves pretty fast from there.
So you were with him for almost 10 years.
Mm-hmm. Just off and on. Now, he did have a place where, going back to that, he provided home, shelter, food, just the basic things.
And you would have the servicemen in the home that you lived in?
Out. So he ran a service, him and another woman by the name of Carla. I don't know her last name. Okay. But at that time, a lot of people would know her. She had the biggest escort service out of Texas, and they were doing over $1 million a year. And he was very close with her. There is also another guy by the name of Rome. A lot of people would know him. Who also knew Mickey, and they would get a lot of Carla's services.
And so the split was 50-50. You keep 50%. How much would give me a typical charge for, like, just
So back in the day, or when I was younger, it was going for like $250.
Okay.
For the hour.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. And so you were definitely underage, and so you were sleeping with a lot of grown men.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Did they know that you were underage?
They never asked. In that type of life, they don't ask those questions. When they see a girl, if they like the girl, then they want to see the girl.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Or multiple girls. So at the time, there were other women there. It wasn't just me.
Yeah,
so,
I'll take that. Yeah,
and majority of them were already older or grown.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know everybody's age specifically, but I remember the first call I did with Mickey, there were 2 other girls there, and we went to this Omni downtown Dallas, and because he knew I was underage, he had them go up first, and there was probably about 4 or 5 white collar, white men, and then they called down, and he said once they check it out, make sure it's not the police and everything, you can go up. So when they called back down, it was like, yeah, it's good or whatever. He sent me up.
Oh shit.
Mm-hmm. So that was the first call I did. I was only there for the first hour. Now, they did keep the girls, which, they made more money because the longer you stay, the more they pay.
Because it's by the hour.
Yeah, but I think I was so timid and, quiet and, I didn't really know how to do things the way they did it. And they were just kind of like, yeah, we'll see y'all. She can go. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Like, this is a whole different world.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so that's how organized it was. Did he charge you guys for room and board too? So
no.
So just 50% split, you get to live in the house. Mm-hmm. And he was making $1 million a year off you guys. Mm-hmm. So that means if he was making $1 million a year, well, he's got multiple girls. It's just you. So you would make about what, $200,000 a year?
I made him good money. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you never made good money for yourself.
At the time, what I had got, and because I was so young, mm-hmm. so it was like I didn't have rent, mm-hmm. car notes, bills, things like that. To me, it was. So I remember, I can't really, something was going on, but after school, I had walked around the corner to like the nail shop. I went to the Family Dollar and got like a track phone. You remember the track phones they used to have with the little minute card and stuff like
that? Yeah,
they
would be in a plastic. Yeah.
I had got that and went and got a little MP3 player and some clothes. And so anyway, I went home and I was sitting there. My mom was sitting on the couch and she looked at me and she said, where did you get that at? Where'd you get your nails done at? Where'd you get the phone and stuff from? Because a lot of the time she would take away phones, communication devices from me and things like that, So I said, well, I'll buy my own.
And you were 16 doing this. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. I just,
A little bit younger then, but yeah, because I was still in junior high at that time.
Where's your mama now, right now?
In Texas.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Mama, if she said she's sorry, I'm sorry. I just couldn't imagine what you put your mama through.
Mm-hmm. It was a lot. It was a lot.
Jesus. Because all we do is we want to protect y'all from yourselves. Mm-hmm. And the one thing I'm sure that, so she had no clue as to what you were doing.
Not at first, but eventually, yeah.
And what was her reaction?
When I finally got off of, like kitty papers, mm-hmm. When I was 17, she just told me now, because the thing about it is I kept going to detention for specifically running away, mm-hmm. And so in the state of Texas, 17 is legal. So, she just told me you're grown now. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're with Mickey.
Yes.
For 10 years. Okay. Yes. He's now on papers. It seemed like everything was going great.
Mm-hmm. Until it wasn't.
So what happened when things when did things start to turn not so great? Before we get into the other guys, because I know why you're here, but like, you know, we like to know like what led up to this particular point, because I know you're gonna unload on these niggas here that you got the indictment on. So,
Absolutely.
But what happened to make you just say fuck it with Mickey and put his ass?
A situation
in
happened
the feds.
where threats were made toward myself, toward my children. And with that, you know, it was like all bets are off at that point. Yeah.
No, what all the way up until last year? So what happened? Like, what changed? What went from, you know, you were with him 10 solid years. Obviously, you made a lot of money over those years. And then shit just hit the fan. Like, why would he threaten you?
You'd have to ask him, you know.
Did you want to leave or something and go with another pimp? What?
No, I don't know. I really don't know. He would get in these moods at times and, you know, say things, do things, you know, we'd fall out, go our own separate ways. That's why I said it was off and on, because I never really just lived with him consecutively during that time. You know, my kid's dad is a whole nother person, you know, and so, yeah, but that was what happened. A disagreement took place, as it had always before, and it just sparked, you know, some nasty things being said. And
what did he say? He was gonna kill you?
No, he didn't say he was going to kill me. This is what happened. I'm going to give you the detail.
Okay.
We always worked, as I told you before, on a 50-50 split.
Okay.
Also, if a girl would receive tips or if a guy wanted to pay her more, that was hers. That had nothing to do with him or anybody else. Okay. So a situation happened where I went to a call, not a call of his. One of the girls said she was out of town and had a client, and if I could go do that call.
Okay.
He let me know about it and was like, well, you know, you talk to her, she's going to do all that. You know, he made it seem as if he had nothing to do with that part. Okay.
Okay.
So I went to the call. What the guy gave me, I sent her half of it, which is what was fine, which is what we've always done. Okay.
Okay. If you take her client and she can't make it, just for you
Same
making
thing.
extra money. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And after that, the guy, you know, wanted to spend more time.
Okay.
And he paid for that extra time. Okay. After that, the next day she calls on the phone. She's like, oh, yeah, you know, because, you know, they call me honey. So she said, oh, yeah, honey, I just got done talking to so-and-so, and did you get, you know, paid that amount? I said, yeah, why? She was like, oh, well, I just think that's effed up and that's slimy and you know, drama. And I'm trying to understand, where is that coming from? You know, where is that coming from?
How much did you end up making? Do you remember?
He $1,500 total.
Damn. Okay. Wow.
He was good.
Okay. And so you gave her half of the 50.
It was booked for $400.
So you gave her half of that $400, and then the extra money that you made for the extra time.
Yep.
That's yours.
Yeah.
That's like a tip.
Yeah.
Okay. And so did he tell her how much he paid you or something and tipped her and
yeah, because that was her client. So she had been seeing him for some time. So she felt comfortable enough to call him or just be like, hey, did you enjoy yourself? You know, was everything fine? You know, and I guess he told her, yeah, and whatever else she asked him.
Oh, so she was a little jealous.
Yeah, that's what it was. And she was like, but, you know, Mickey and all this. And I said, well, listen, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to call Mickey.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask him what he thinks about it. Because it seems like you're coming at me standing on some type of principle about Mickey. And so let me call him straight up and ask him, you know, what's going on? What's the problem? Well, when I talked to him, that's when I knew, you know, he was in on that. And it wasn't just her. It was like 2 other girls that he had there.
So they all wanted you to split that $1,500.
Yeah. You know, but the thing is, talking crazy, you know, making threats, things like that, you know. Now, the thing about Mickey is he has this woman, and this is going to come full circle when we get into the Grandmaster, the Bishop, the guy out of St. Louis, the guy out of Chicago, and Pimpin' Ken.
Okay.
So this lady, her name is Kat. She lives in St. Louis. She's always been what I would consider her to be is a madam. And she's had, other things in the past that would support that too. Not with me, but with other girls.
Okay.
So when things happen or whatever, when it comes to Mickey, she's always like kind of that person to be like, hey, or, kind of his mouthpiece, you know what I mean? And so she did that in that situation too, and so,
So she called you and tried to rectify the situation and shit turned.
Yeah.
Left.
Yeah.
And this is all over
money.
$700?
Yeah. Whatever the difference was. Exactly.
And so threats were made against you.
Yes.
And then you decided to go to the feds on his ass.
Yes. Because by then you have to understand 10 years. So, we've had falling outs and disagreements and different things like that. Or, we may go time, I'm talking months, 3 to 6 months without even communicating and things like that, So it was just at this point, and then you bring my kids into it. You have to understand a lot of the girls that were around, I was very, like to myself, so to speak. I didn't get into hanging out with them. None of them would say she was my friend. We kicked it. None of that. It was really just a business thing, And so when they bought those personal things up, I'm like, it has to be coming from you, Mickey.
Okay.
Because they don't know me well enough to know anything, So
you
that's how that
you
happened.
felt betrayed, pretty much. Him telling those girls
absolutely
your business, and so you decided to
don't mention my kids, and it was over right there. And I told him that too, so it wasn't like a surprise. He wasn't blindsided. I told all of them what I was going to do,
And what did they say?
Well, and I have voicemails and all that that you can listen to for what they said. She was like, calling me. I mean, that's fine. He's not talking about you to other women and y'all just, bickering and all that. No, So, yeah.
Stand on business.
Yeah, you have to. You have to.
All right. Well, Mickey, do you hope you getting your affairs in order? Because he ain't in jail yet, is he?
Oh, yeah, he was arrested. So this happened in November.
Okay.
I think I made the report like early November 11th or so. But he wasn't arrested until the 10th of February.
And you told him he had been trafficking you for 10 years?
Yes. But the thing that the detective said, she said, I'm going to tell you something honestly. Is it a part of the story? Yes. But she said, I'm not going to touch on the trafficking part of it. What I'm here to do is address, were you working for him when you were a minor?
Oh,
and
shit.
I said,
they're going
yes.
All the way back. Damn. Okay.
Yep.
This is a big one for the detective. These are political moves. You have to understand. These are promotional moves. Okay, so you done gave her a big fish, and so you and the detective, y'all doing good. So this same detective, is she the one that is bringing the indictment against Grandmaster Virgil? Or is
no, because that was in Texas.
Okay.
The indictment against the Grandmaster Virgil is in California.
So how did you meet Grandmaster Virgil?
Okay, so in January of this year, I left Texas and went to St. Louis.
Right.
With the person named Ron. Okay. Ron is how I even got introduced to the Love and Hip Hop cast. Okay. And that's another thing.
Love and Hip Hop, which franchise?
Benzino, Mama D.
Atlanta. Okay.
Atlanta.
Go ahead. Go. Okay.
And so that's how I met them, was through him.
Okay.
So from there, St. Louis, he sends me to New York. Okay. When he sends me to New York, I am to send him a profit on whatever he spent sending me to New York and what he gave me to even go to New York. Okay.
Okay.
So
who were you going to New York to see?
to work.
Okay. So he already had people set up for you.
No, I was going there, the Airbnb, the flight,
okay,
the food, the clothes, the, things you need, transportation, all that.
That's a lot of money. He invested in you. Okay, so you were to go to New York and basically get your own clients.
Yes.
How did you go about getting your own clients, though?
So there's websites for that.
Okay.
And some websites are better than others. You have those websites. And, the wording, I'm trying to use the right wording.
Okay.
But if I was just talking to you straight out, I would say there are what I consider to be bottom of the barrel type of websites, like Backpage, like I was telling you earlier.
So they have new websites now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so there's websites where you get, or you may have more elite clientele, and so that's what I was working off of.
Okay. So like escort services.
Yes.
Okay. And so, so you're in an Airbnb. Grandmaster Virgil's taking care of it.
Well, no, that was Ron.
That was Ron. My bad. Ron is taking care of it out of St. Louis. He's taking care of it, taking care of your flight. So basically, as you're making money, you're sending him money back and keeping some for yourself.
As I made money, he was still sending me money because I would explain to him that the overhead was still more than what he had initially gave me just to get there. New York is expensive.
Right.
It's expensive. An Airbnb a day is like $150, and that's just like, the basic,
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see that. Yeah. I mean, I know. I just came from New York. It's quite costly to stay there. And
and I flew into LaGuardia when I first flew in.
Okay.
And so to go from LaGuardia all the way to like the Manhattan area, the district, I forget what it's called, but the district something, you're going to spend over $100. That's just to get from point A to B.
And
it's expensive.
Right. So you would basically set yourself up on websites and invite people in, get your money. And so, but it wasn't picking up as fast as it should have been. And so the overhead, he had to keep supporting because you weren't making enough to cover your expenses.
That's right. And another thing I'll tell you is that it's always me going out. It's never someone coming to see me.
Okay. Because I was going to say that could be kind of dangerous.
Very. Well, it's all dangerous, but that is, how I was always taught was to go out.
Don't let them know where you stay.
Okay. Right.
Okay. So how long were you in New York?
I was only in New York for about a week and a half. And Ron had plans to drive up to New York.
Okay.
To meet me there. And then whatever he had planned after that, that's when I met Virgil.
Okay. All right. And so when you meet Virgil, how did that meeting go?
So there's a guy from Chicago by the name of Ravel. They call him Romaine. And I spoke to him. I was talking to him. This is from Facebook. Okay. He saw, he said, I'm going to get you in touch with my friend, who I didn't know him at the time. And it was Virgil.
Okay. All these guys are, like I said, are very active on social media.
Oh, yeah, very.
They talk about their pimping escapades and things that they used to do, they no longer do now, but they're out here somewhat educating. But yet you say, without a doubt, that you recently worked for them as of this year.
Oh, well, it's facts. Yeah. Okay. And the thing about it is, it's been under investigation. So everything that I'm telling you has been ran through detectives, officers, and then now up to the district attorney.
Okay.
So I'm not telling you anything that's just fabricated or, throwing stuff out there,
I got you. So you meet Virgil, and because you had mentioned something about the Love and Hip Hop cast. And so did you service them or something?
I did not.
Okay.
No.
But Zeno ain't buy no pussy?
No.
Oh.
Because he had a girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
You know, and so when we were there, I was told that was her house, you know. And I have videos and pictures, you know, of being there and stuff too, because the whole thing of it, Benzino and Ron, you know, after we kicked it and chilled for a little bit, they went to the studio and I stayed there with his girlfriend, Benzino's girlfriend.
Okay, I met her before
In Atlanta.
on FaceTime. Okay. All right.
The dark
skin
girl.
chick. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so shout out to Benzino. He's a friend of mine. So okay, but all right. So you meet Grandmaster Virgil, and
in New York.
In New York.
So we were talking on the phone.
All right.
And he said, "Okay, I'm going to send for you to come out here," which is to California.
Okay.
Okay. So when I flew into California, it was a late flight, probably about 11 to 12 midnight.
Okay.
Got in and he came to pick me up from the Sacramento airport. Okay. From there, we went to like the store to grab, you know, some stuff and then went to his apartment.
All right.
One of his homes in Dixon, California. Okay. From there, it was so late and, you know, the flight and everything, I was tired. You know, I don't know if he had been up or not, but I took a shower, got in the bed and went to sleep.
Okay.
Okay. So the next day I wake up, he was in the kitchen, making like, you know, breakfast. And, after that, you know, we had a brief conversation and he was like, I have to go take care of some business. And he left and I didn't see him until 3 days later.
Oh, that's some heavy business.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what did you do for those 3 days?
I called him. I was like, where are you? Mm-hmm. You know, what's going on? Because I'm sitting here in the house. I'm like, where's the food at? What's going on?
Yeah, you used to being taken care of.
Yeah.
Okay.
And none of that. And I'm just like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So he comes back 3 days later. What did he tell you he was?
He never said.
All right. Mm-hmm. And so nobody's in the house but you.
Right.
Okay. And
well, I can also tell you when there was a maintenance guy who came by, and when he came by, he said a name, and he was like Habib, you know, some type of what do they call that?
African name?
Is it African?
Mm-hmm.
I thought
Habib
it was
is African. Yeah.
Okay, so that's what he said, and I was like, who? And he was like, Habib Samir, is he here? And I was like, no, it's just me. But he had to fix like something in the shower or something like that. So anyway, I let him in. And so that was, you know, my first notion of, you know, who is he type of thing, you know?
Okay. All right. So yeah, Habib Samir. Yep, that is very African, West African.
Mm-hmm.
He could be Senegalese, you know, or Malian. You just never know. Okay. So, what after he gets back for 3 days, do you instantly go to work? What happened?
So in hindsight, I can tell you that what he expected me to do, and based off the brief conversation that we had, he expects his girls to be on autopilot. And what that means is whatever that woman has to do to just go do it and bring him money. And I'm not, and I don't even know what that, you know.
So you go
about.
out there, he doesn't fund you or support you.
Mm-hmm.
You just gonna make your money and bring it back to him.
Right.
But he's not providing anything for you.
Right.
Okay. And so, like, did he discuss that with you before? No?
No. So when we had the brief conversation on the phone, he went into, you know, I'm taking a chance with you. You know, we need to do things so that basically nothing comes back to him. And, you know, when he talks, he's very like vague, even though he could be talking directly to you. It's like, okay, I'm the person who's working for you, so be direct with me. You know what I mean? But no, he was very vague. He didn't get very, like clear on what his intentions were detailed until he came back after those 3 days.
Okay. And so that was a conversation of basically he expects you to get it how you get it.
Right. So I think when he came back after those 3 days, he was disappointed.
Oh, so he left you he left you in the house to work.
Yeah. Without telling me that though. And I didn't know that.
Okay.
Because
you got to explain the contract, Virgil.
Yeah. Yeah, because someone of his status, he feels like that should just be something, you know.
You already knew.
Right.
And you're like, I'm a kept girl.
Right.
Okay, Virgil. All right. So here's the thing. No, your story is absolutely mind-blowing. I got to tell you. I interview a lot of people, and I got to tell you, this is probably one of the top 5, right? It's just the transparency of it all, that's what the platform is about, is the transparency of it all. It doesn't matter what walk of life you come from. We're not here to judge. We're here to learn and let you, get out what it is that you need to get out. And so Virgil had you fucked up pretty much.
Pretty much.
Okay.
In every way.
In every way.
Yeah.
And so what was the conversation like? What did you say to him after he told you, like, where's the money? You were supposed to be making money. I left you in this apartment.
It was just like, I don't know what you're talking about. But what he would say is he would say something like, anything came through yet? Or he would say something like, you have a date yet? I'm like, no. None of that. None of that has happened. I haven't talked to you. I haven't seen you in 3 days. You left me in an apartment with no food.
Virgil.
You know what I'm saying?
So that's not, so he on social media capping like he
got it and all this. And we're going to get into that. Okay. Because right now I have a very prominent lawyer who's handled a lot of high profile cases when it comes to women and things like that. And so that's, in the works right now too.
Okay. So basically he's sitting on social media like he got it running down like that, but he's not giving y'all no instructions. He's not helping y'all. He's not feeding y'all. And he expects to just come collect half. Like Mickey seemed like he treated you good up until the last year.
It was what I signed up for, what I agreed to with Mickey.
But you've had better
than
Mickey. Who was, out of all the pimps you had, who was the best?
Let's talk about student loan discharges in bankruptcy. Most people will tell you it's impossible. Even bankruptcy attorneys will tell you that. But guess what? We just got 2 discharged a few weeks ago, and we're going to get a lot more. So if you're struggling with your student loans, you may be able to discharge those through bankruptcy. So you should just give me a call and let's figure it out.
Have you ever noticed that since hitting 35, all the young men with their pants sagging off their asses want to push up on you?
I'm Kasim. Nice to meet you.
I'm Maya. You couldn't pay me to date a younger guy. I mean, what can he do for me?
That's thick as hell.
Will you please stop using the word thick?
So, tell me about this man friend.
I'm old enough to be your aunt. He's just a baby. I think he's 22.
Well, I'm not like most men my age, or any age.
Young men can be pretty fun, though. Hello? My girlfriend.
Your girlfriend? You gay?
I'm not some lonely old cougar looking for some young stud to take care of. Dinner was on me today.
Oh, nah, I got mine.
Is that why you're just like somebody out of Love and Hip Hop?
What's wrong with my outfit? It's a little young, don't you think?
Watch this full program and other exclusive content on www.tashaklive.com.
my kid's dad.
Oh, shit. Wow. Okay, so...
So I met Mickey about 3 months before I met my kid's dad.
Okay, so how long have you known your kid's dad?
I met him when I was 15, but that was through like internet, talking, texting, phone type of thing. I didn't see him until I was about 16.
Okay. And obviously your kid's dad's older than you, correct?
Oh, yeah. When I met him, he was about 53.
And you were how old?
I was about 16.
And you had sex with him?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. This is definitely some pretty it's a lot to take in.
Yeah, but the thing about it is my kid's dad, he was, you know, he had, you know, everything, you know, that...
Like what?
As far as what I told you that I felt like I was missing, you know, at home and things like that, you know. He had a lot of money. You know, he...
So he was a pimp, but he took care of you.
Oh, yeah, he was that go-to person, you know. You know, him and Mickey never met, but they knew about or of each other.
But I thought pimps don't share their girls.
Well, and in Mickey's case, he would say something like, you know, back in the day, he was like that, you know, where it was like he was checking a girl's whole trap, taking all of her money, things like that. But as he got older, he said that's when he changed it to be like, you know, just make an agreement and yeah.
Okay, it got a little easier.
Yeah, yeah, he felt like that was easier.
50-50, I ain't got to look for you.
Yeah.
I just helped set up. We run this like you renting a hair salon booth from me.
Right.
Pretty much. That's how Mickey ran it. But your kid's father, how many kids you got with him?
2.
Wow. Okay. When did you have your first baby?
19.
Okay. And then your second?
About 20. They're 3 years apart, so I was about 22.
Okay. And your kids have always lived with their father?
Yes.
Because I was going to say, you seem like you're on the go a lot.
A lot.
Okay. And so you just stop in, they know you mama and...
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I left from living with my kid's dad when I was 21.
Okay.
I wasn't living with him anymore.
All right. And you left the kids there because he was obviously...
Well, no, I took my kids with me.
Oh.
Yeah, so he wanted to go through, you know, a custody battle, which I still have custody of my kids. But he wanted to, you know, he sued me in court for taxes on the home.
Y'all bought a house together?
I was paying the taxes on the home.
Okay.
But my name was not anywhere on that house, so that didn't go.
How he could do that then? Y'all must have had something in writing.
No, we didn't.
Okay.
That's just what I did every year. So when I left, I was no longer doing that, and he went and filed a lawsuit against me for it.
Did he win?
No, it was dismissed.
Okay. Okay. All right. So back to Virgil. We'll come back to your kid's father in a little bit. Damn, girl. So back to Virgil. So Virgil basically is asking you, where's the money? I left you here for 3 days.
Right.
So basically it was your apartment to stay in to work.
I don't know. And then another thing is, Tasha, that entire apartment had woman stuff in it, like the bed, the furniture, everything in that apartment was very feminine. So in my head, I'm like, whose house is this? Whose apartment is this? He said it was his. Really, I was hoping another woman didn't come over, because even in the bathroom, there's, you know, hair stuff for women hygiene products, you know.
Maybe he had it outfitted for you, so when the men came over, it looked like...
It was a woman living there.
Yeah.
I have no clue.
So when did shit turn left? Like, when did things get bad to the point where you had to get the detectives involved to get an indictment on Virgil?
Right.
So, exclusive? Shit.
Right. So when he came back from being gone for those 3 days, he came back, you know, ain't nothing happened, you know, you haven't did a day yet, blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, you know, and I told him, I'm hungry, you know. So he went out. And when he came back, he didn't come back with food. He came back with a condom.
Like if you hungry, go work?
No, we had sex. Mm-hmm.
So you had sex with Virgil?
Mm-hmm. Right.
But you were still hungry?
Right.
Okay, so what happened?
So after that, he gets on the phone. This is when he starts making calls. He has it on speaker, and we're sitting on the bed still.
Right.
So this is when he starts calling. He calls his nephew. He calls a few people out of Atlanta. He calls Bishop Don Juan. He calls Pimpin Ken and a few other people. And this was just like, I have a girl here, you know, say hi. I'm like, hi, you know. And he gets to talking to them and things like that.
And you need work. Is that what he's doing?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so did he get you some work?
So what he said is he got off the phone, you know, went in the living room or whatever. So he was still talking. And when he came back in the room, he said, I'm going to send you to Salinas, California. So he wanted me to leave from Dixon, where we were, to go to Salinas. And he said, you're going to meet somebody there. You're going to work with him and his girls. And I didn't want to do that.
Why?
I just didn't want to do it. It didn't seem like, I don't know. To me, it felt like he was in this, you know, I don't know, just mode of like, you know, give me some money, you know. And just to be frank with you, you know, when a dude is like that, he's not thinking straight. And so he'd put you in any situation if he thinks that that's going to generate income or make him money, things like that.
Girl, you are exposing the fuck out of this guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the facts. It's just the facts. And I later on found out, you know, from someone else, this lady told me, she said, you know, you've never been there, but I have. And Salinas is not, there's nothing city about it. There's nothing, you know, she's like, it's just a bunch of hills, dirt roads, you know, maybe oil fields, cattle. She's like, I don't know what you would have done out there, you know? So I don't know. Okay. So anyway, but I tell him, so, you know, and I'm sitting back. So the whole time, just to interject, I had a couple, you know, some change on my Cash App. Okay. And I walked around to a place called Andy's off around there somewhere and got me something to eat, you know, while he was gone for that period of time. Yeah. I mean, but that was it. Okay. Yeah. So, but in his mind, this wasn't important to him. You know, me not eating was not important to him. He left out the house and came back with a condom to have sex with me.
Why did he want to have sex with you?
I don't know. Ask him.
Do you think he was trying to test you out?
Maybe that too.
Why did you end up having sex with him if he didn't feed you?
He just wanted to have sex.
Was he good?
No, it wasn't anything to be like, oh, wow, you know. Okay. I think you know, he's so old. Virgil is 79. You know that.
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, Virgil is old. There's nothing, you know.
His dick still get hard?
No, you know. No, and that's why it was like, you know, a hard time. You know what I mean? That, you know, yeah. You know.
Okay. So how did the indictment come into play?
Okay. It came into play.
It seems like he's going to die in jail if he's 79. Like,
yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
And that's what other people are saying too. But the thing of it is that, so when he did that, I just like let him do whatever he was doing. Cause at that point, I just felt like, you know, he's going to do what he wants to do, you know? And I honestly felt like I was at his mercy because I'm in a place that I don't know. we were pretty far from the airport. I don't remember the exact distance, but I know we drove a while from the airport back to where we were.
Okay.
You know, and it was nighttime, so maybe it felt a little bit longer. But so anyway, got in the car and he went to the Amtrak station in Sacramento and bought an Amtrak ticket for me to go to Salinas. Right after he did that, we went to a strip club in Sacramento. I can't remember the name of it. But he went in there and talked to the people. I stood at like in the walkway in the door, but he said he knew the people there.
Okay.
And so he went in there, talked to them or whatever, came back out. We got in the car, we left. So, yeah. And then after that, we went to the casino. I think it's called Thunderbird Casino, something like that, Thunder something. And that's when he told me, get out the car and go in there. And I was like, and do what? And he's like, that's where all the money's at. That's where you're going to find all the tricks at. You got to get out the car and go in there and find somebody. They're going to get you a room and everything. They're the ones who's going to make sure you get a room, all this type of stuff. I said, you want me to go in a casino with no money and find a trick? Yeah.
So tell me real quick, because, you know, I'm oblivious to this lifestyle. You know, I hear about it and, you know, I talk to girls who are working girls and stuff like that. So you have a pimp. The pimp is supposed to provide certain things for you to be able to work. So they're like your investor, per se.
Right.
So they ensure that you have a room and board, you have food, you have the things that you need in order to work, and then you guys split what you make.
It depends on whatever that person's program is. You know, I'm speaking to you in a way that I feel like people can understand it. But if, you know, just me and you speaking, or if I were to use the terms that they actually use in the game, it's whatever that pimp's program is. That's how it goes.
So what did Virgil tell you his pimp program was?
Oh, he collects all the money.
So how'd you go with him?
I didn't know that until we had that conversation at the apartment.
So when Ron gave you off to Virgil.
Ravel.
When Ravel gave you off to Virgil from New York.
Right. And Ron didn't know that I had left New York to go to California to be with Virgil. He still thought I was in New York. Ron did. But
so he just took you away. Okay. Yeah. And so there wasn't no prior discussion as to what the terms would be before you went out there, and you just went? Okay.
I just went.
Because it's always been good terms, like, or doable terms for you with other pimps. So you assumed that he knew what the game was.
Right.
But being that he's 79.
Someone to be, with the status that he is and to claim to, you know the things that he knows, or, you know, indulging in the things that he indulges is, yes, I just assumed that, you know.
And this man almost 80 years old.
Yeah, he's 79.
Do you think?
His birthday is actually tomorrow, August 2nd.
Damn. So do you think that maybe because of his age, he's a little out of touch with how modernized things are?
Well,
now?
when we fell out, Romaine, you know, was the mediator, and he, you know, called me a lot of the time, and, you know, he's going through a lot, and, you know, he just lost his sister and all this type of stuff, which I told Ravel, I said, listen, for someone whose sister is dying in the hospital, and however that's affecting him, you know, mentally, emotionally, physically, however, why would he drive me to a ditch and tell me he's going to kill me and throw me, you know, cut me up and throw me out in the ditch?
Virgil told you that?
Oh, yeah. That's when it all blew up. So, yeah.
He ate it. He's strong enough to do that?
He is. He works out every day. He does. Even though he's old. And, you know.
But he said he was going to cut you up and throw you and so nobody can find you.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So you said, I'll be right back.
No. So after he did all that, going to, you know, the Amtrak, the strip club, the casino, because I called him from the casino and I'm like, come pick me up. You know, I'm ready to go. You know, and you also have to know there's a lot of security and things like that at the casino.
Yeah,
too.
so you can't be tricking.
I mean, they'll put you out, you know, or what
if you're not gambling.
Yeah, and a lot of working girls would tell you it's called, you know, they'll 86 you out for that. Okay. So anyway, I called him and I said, you know, I'm ready, you know, come pick me up. He came to pick me up, same thing. Did you get it yet? What happened? Did you get a date? I said, no, none of that. Nope. So this is when he went through the whole, you know, he just did a lot of talking, you know, and I was just quiet majority of the time, you know, and things like that. He called his nephew on the phone and put him on the car speaker and was like, yeah, I think this one gonna blow. I think this one gonna blow and all this type of stuff. I don't think this gonna work out and all this different type of stuff. So, no, seriously. And so when we got back to his apartment, and he was sitting on the bed like he was finna get cozy and comfortable. And I told him, I said, hey, I'm ready to go. I need you to get me to the airport. I'm ready to go. And he jumped up and he was like, oh, you want me to take you right now? I said, yeah. And he's like, oh, okay. He put on his shoes and his little jacket and everything. He was like, you got everything and everything. I was like, yep, I got everything. I'm ready. Get in the car. On our way to the airport. And this is when he starts talking. I mean, I'm saying it's like, you know, I thought you was going to be down with me. I thought you know, things like that. You know, and I was just quiet the whole time. So when I knew there was a problem is he got all the way to where the exit sign said Sacramento Airport. He kept driving past the airport where it said Los Angeles, as if you're going into Los Angeles. And he just kept driving and driving and talking crazy, you know, and I knew it was fixing to get bad right there.
When you say fixing to get bad, what do you mean?
Why are you passing up our destination?
Okay. And so he was
still talking crazy.
And he was hurling out threats. Somebody he was going to take you out and put you in a ditch.
No, he wasn't saying that. Yeah, he was just talking crazy. I mean, you know, you said you're going to be here for me and all this different type of stuff. I mean, what kind of game you playing and all this different type of stuff. You know, that type of stuff, you know. So he keeps driving and I notice we're on a small back road. It's dark. There's no lights other than his headlights are leading the way. And he turns into a little part, you know, like gravel, because you can't drive all the way in because there's nothing but grass and then field and trees, you know. And he cuts off the car and he turns to me and he says, are you the police? And I said, what? That's what he said. And I said, what are you talking about? You know, and I told him, which that's what set him off. Okay. But I told him, I said, I'm not out to get you. You know, was that the wrong choice of words?
I don't know.
Well, that's what I said to him. And he said, bitch, what did you say to me? And so he started slipping his hand down in between his seat on the driver's side, you know, between the door and the seat. And he just kept putting his hand down there. He never pulled anything up. So I don't know if it was a gun. I don't know if it was a knife, but I'm sitting on the passenger side, you know. So while he's doing all this and I, you know, look out the corner of my eye, I see him doing this, you know. But I felt like the best and the only thing I could do right there was just to keep my composure and to continue to be silent, because you have to understand him driving and talking and all this. And then it was like, I say one thing and now you're reaching for something. So I figured like, there's nothing I can say that, you know, other than piss you off or set you off for whatever reason, you know.
I mean, I'm sure you've learned over the years intuitively how to maneuver in situations like that, so you can kind of pick up on the energy.
Right, but I can tell you one thing, Miss Tasha. I have never been in a situation like that. Never. Ever. I mean, you know, it just never.
So what happened? Did he decide to take you back to the airport?
So, and he was like, no, what he did, he said, you know, what you mean by that? What you mean by that? And I said, well, what I'm saying is I had nothing but pure intentions, you know, in dealing with you. That's what I told him, you know. And so his hand was still in there and he was like, give me your ID, give me your ID, give me your ID. And I'm like, what? And, you know, my ID was in the back seat, you know. So I told him, like, it's back there. So he goes and rummages back there and gets my ID and he's just staring at it for at least 30 seconds to a minute. He's just staring at it. I don't know what he wanted to see on there. I told him I was from Texas. I have a Texas license. I don't know if he was looking at the address, which I no longer reside at anyway. You know, most people don't, but, you know, I don't know what he was looking at, but he wanted that ID.
And so you gave him that. He got the
ID. He rummaged, got the ID. Then he handed it back to me. And, you know, he told me, he's like, yeah, you know, about 10 years ago, that's the specific number he gave. About 10 years ago, I'd have cut you up and threw you out in that field. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I just stayed quiet. And I was looking straight ahead out into the darkness, you know. And so what he did is he flinched at me. But like I said, I'm looking straight ahead. So I never even looked at him other than when I looked down like that out the corner and realized his hand was in between the seat, you know, reaching for something. And so when he did like that, you know, flinched at me with his hand, I jumped to the, you know, window door side. And then, you know, I finally looked at him, you know, and I told his friend, you know, Ravel, and I'll tell you, I saw a pure demon, you know. Whoever that was in that car was not, you know, the person I had been talking to. That's not the person who came and picked me up from the airport. That was, a demon.
So how did you get back to the house?
So, well, after that happened, from there, he starts the car, after doing all of that, starts the car and takes me to the airport.
Okay, and then you call, you get on a plane? Who got your flight for you?
Exactly. So I get to the airport. Now, in the midst of this happening, okay, there's a lot of detail, right? I'm giving you the gist, but what I can tell you is that in seeing him, I had a person, a client that I knew in Texas send me money, okay? In the midst of all this, okay? That is what I sent to him. So it wasn't as if I didn't give him any money. I sent it to the Cash App that he told me to send it to.
Grandmaster Virgil.
Virgil, yeah.
Just to satisfy him.
Yeah, to shut him up. Yeah, and to satisfy him, yeah.
And how much was it that you sent him?
70.
And he was happy with that?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So you would think someone, that's why I was just like, I mean, I don't know. Yeah. And here's the thing. Even when he was talking about sending me to Selena's, he wanted to put me on what they call the track or the blade or the Holstro, streetwalker. I've never done that in my life. So if I had known that, I also would have told him, no. You know?
Yeah.
Never. So, drops me off at the airport and keeps on going. Actually, he did say, call me back when you get some stuff together. Call me back when you get yourself together.
Okay.
So when he dropped me off at the airport, I texted him and I said, listen, you need to get me a ticket out of here. Or number 2, send me back the money I sent you. You understand? Because what he didn't understand is that even when I buy a flight and then when I get to my destination, I have to eat. I have to pay for a roof over my head. I have other things to do, you know, which is not his concern at that point. but send me back what I sent you. That's what I told him. And I told him, he stopped answering the phone. He, put his number on like do not disturb to where it was just going, to voicemail, ring a little bit. So he was avoiding me. And so I left him a message, a voicemail, and I said, you either send me back the money, pay for me a flight, or I'm calling the police.
And what happened?
I called the police.
Okay.
And I got on the phone and I told them I called the Dixon Police Department. And I told them, I said, I'm here in Sacramento.
Woo-woo.
I'm at the airport.
Okay.
I'm not from here. And I have no way to get back home.
Oh, wow.
I was involved in sex trafficking.
Okay.
And I need help.
Oh, damn.
They said, we're going to put your call in the queue, and we'll get you a call back. That detective called me back, Miss Tasha. And said to me, where are you at? I said, I'm at the Sacramento airport. He said, stay there. I'm going to come pick you up.
Okay.
He came and picked me up personally. And this was like about 2:30, 3 a.m. in the morning.
And so here we are.
And here we are. But he did also ask me on the phone. He was like, what is it that you're wanting? And I told him I need to get home. And he said, okay, I'm going to come pick you up. I want you to have a conversation with me. And I promise you, I will get you home.
And so you from there, charges have been rendered.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what actually happened while I was talking to the detective, Virgil got the voicemail and he called my phone. While I was in there with the detective. So they were able to bring out the recorders and everything and record that conversation that he wanted to have with me about that.
Virgil, you done fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah. And he got on there.
All you had to do is feed her. Goddamn. Okay.
He got on that phone. He was like, I got Beverly Hills lawyers. Girl, don't you know we get on your head and talking about you gonna call the police. We don't play that. We don't play that. Just talking crazy like he had been doing before, And so, after they recorded it at a certain point, the detective was just like, cut the call,
We got too much.
And I cut the call.
Okay. All right. So, So basically, you want to come to the internet to let the internet know that Virgil is not who he is out here proclaiming to be.
Well, here's the thing. Virgil, Bishop Don Juan, and Pimpin Ken as well. Pimpin Ken, if you saw just a week or two ago, did an interview on The Breakfast Club.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and what's the girl's name?
Jess Hilarious?
Yeah, Jess Hilarious.
Okay.
And she was asking him, how many girls did you have at a time? How many? And I think he said like 11 or 14, somewhere between that, right? If it ain't snowing, he ain't going. You know what I mean? Things like that. And I said, they talk about it, but then in the same breath, they'll sit there and say, but I don't do that anymore. And, that ain't my style. And, I want other people, and it's just like these people are narcopaths, sociopaths, and psychopaths who have created a facade and they wear a mask. Why? Because this mask gets them access. Virgil, he gets to go to be around these people. I don't know if you've seen or not, but he was just with Mama D. This was, I think, about a week ago, maybe a month ago, hanging out with these people. Bishop Don Juan gets to get in movies, Pimpin Ken, and the whole thing of it is, although we made ourselves to be who we are off of the abuse, the backs, the struggle that women have went through, right? To make them who they are. But at the same time, they'll claim this is not what they do anymore, when it is very much what they do. And this is the thing
They're just
about
not good at it. We definitely got the sea moss on deck. 92 of the 100 vitamins and minerals that the body has. Okay, this has sea moss, spirulina, zinc, burdock root, vitamin C. Pop it under your tongue, instantly energized and ready to go. Okay, you know, most of our food is not supplemented. And so for me personally, I believe that we should supplement. Talk to your doctor, see what your vitamin levels are at. And he's probably going to tell you 9 times out of 10 that you need to supplement. Okay, and so why not use a plant-based source that is not fishy smelling like most sea moss, okay? And it's actually plant flavored with mango flavor as well as pineapple flavor, okay? And in addition to that, we got sea moss with soursop. And you know, soursop is anti-diabetic, it's anti-cancerous, has a lot of properties that the Caribbean people use and things like that and have used for many years. I mean, they have numerous studies, especially animal studies, with it showing that it fights cancer, eliminates cancer and things like that in animals and stuff. And so, you know, we ain't supposed to say that it does that in humans, but, you know, there's a reason why they got it for sale, okay, as a supplement, okay? And this is flavored as well, too, with the black seed oil and the sea moss, very potent. You can get both on shoptkdeals.com. Use the coupon code TK10. Guys, if you're having any sort of joint pain and things like that, it's probably because your calcium has been depleted because you're not getting enough D3, okay? And so whenever you saw all those milk commercials and cheese commercials and stuff like that saying get your vitamin D and chocolate milk vitamin D because you need it, it helps with strong bones. It's because it helps to support calcium levels. And so if your calcium has become depleted over the last few years and recently, and you got cracked bones, you got pain and things like that, it's probably because you got a vitamin D3 deficiency. And so for that reason, I had the same thing. I got me a vitamin D test to see where my levels were. And then I popped me 10,000 IUs of vitamin D3 into my water or under my tongue. A few months later, I was back up and walking, okay? No problem, no joint pain, no cracking, no popping, no nothing, all right? But also consult with your doctor as well, too, okay? And so you can take this about 3 times a week, 30,000 IUs a week. That's pretty potent. My doctor prescribed me 50,000, all right? But they only give that to you for a short time. They're not going to continuously give that. And so for that reason, I don't get enough sunlight, even though I'm in the sun a lot. Some people just don't process vitamin D from the sun. And so for that reason, I choose to supplement, okay? And you can get these vitamin D drops on shoptkdeals.com. Use the coupon code TK10, and they are delicious. Look at the reviews on the site. Don't forget, guys, we also have the oil of oregano, which I am taking right now in my water. Okay. And so this helps to purify and get rid of toxins, heavy metals, and things like that. A lot of people suffer from mucus because, you know, eating the wrong foods, environmental things and stuff like that. And so research has shown that oil of oregano has the ability to help, you know, clean out the body, clean out the blood and things like that. And so I would advise you to do your own research on all the supplements before you take them. Talk with your doctor, all right, to see if it's right for you. But in the meantime, if you just don't give a damn about doing either, you can get it for yourself and try it out, okay? But if you are on medication, you do need to talk to your doctor because this is nature's antibiotic, okay? Period. Okay. And so it has been known to get rid of, especially in animal studies, yeast, bacteria, viruses, and things like this. This is very strong. You can smell it just even holding it. 2 drops is all you need for like a couple days or maybe at the max 2 weeks. You can get this on my website, shoptkdeals.com. Use the coupon code TK10. And for those of y'all that are asking why my skin is glistening and all even, it's because I use the glutathione, okay, as well as the Koji Cocoa soap together. All right. And so, and then I put oil on the shower as well. All right. And so the glutathione is what the girls use to help lighten their skin, and really is just supposed to brighten and, you know, even the skin complexion as well, too. This helps to take away dark marks and stuff like that, keeping it youthful, keeping it tight and stuff like that. The Koji Cocoa soap. And so, and then we got the Koji coffee scrub as well, too, for the face. You know, that's another one. I'm going to do a demonstration video on that one, so we can take that down. But use the, don't forget this combination together, the glutathione as well as the Koji Cocoa soap is what I swear by. You can look at the reviews on the site as well, too, to see if it's right for you, see what other people are saying, what other winos are saying. Head to shoptkdeals.com. Use the coupon code TK10 to get 10% off your first order. And last but not least, we have the Mushroom Extract Complex, one of our number one sellers besides the sea moss. All right. Does this thing, I mean, the energy that you get, I didn't take one today because my energy was actually quite up. I got a full night's rest. All right. But for the most part, if you even take one, even Jasmine, I was Jasmine, I'm not taking this, you know what I'm saying? Because it does help you to focus. Mushrooms are very rich in vitamin D as well too. So in case you don't get the vitamin D3, you can also get it from mushrooms. The shiitake mushrooms in here have been shown in research to help eradicate in animals. And there are human studies as well too, HPV, certain cancers that come along with HPV and stuff like that. And so for that reason, I take mushroom supplements for brain function, for immune function, for T-cell optimization and things like that. Look at the reviews on the site. Always look at the reviews when you're buying a product. Always talk to your doctor, okay, before you start any supplements. But in case you don't care about all of those, you can shop. You can shop right now on my website, shoptkdeals.com. Use the coupon code TK10 to get 10% off your first order. Okay. And so, that's all I got to say for now. This is all we are sponsoring today, or, it's all being sponsored. Thank you guys so much for your support.
Different strokes for different folks, because then, Ravel Romaine had been calling me and things like that. Mm-hmm. And he's the one who initiated the threats toward me and told me, you talked to Virgil. I said, no, I haven't talked to Virgil. Oh, well, I talked to him. Yeah. He got a lawyer and I got a lawyer. And, I have all this stuff in text message, and voicemail stuff too. Yeah. And this is when he told me, you're so young. I just hate that you're in this situation. You're just so young. One day you may be out and somebody, may be like, there goes that girl that told on, them, Virgil or Pimpin Ken or the bishop, and and you be looking down, he said something to the effect of, you'd be looking down a gun barrel, or a gun will be in your face or in the middle of your head, or some shit like that, he said.
And so you definitely took that to the detectives, correct? Oh yeah.
And then when like I said, I hadn't talked to him, he'll reach out. So, I changed my number, a couple of times. Mm-hmm. But he reached out and whatnot. And that following day, the detective called me and he said, I just wanted to let you know that if they are reaching out, it's because we executed the search warrants, because I guess there was like a 90-day something approaching. And he said, so they're going to be reaching out. Don't answer your phone. Don't take any calls from them because they can track your location. Yeah. And then I also found out from Ravel Romaine that Virgil, his businesses, his books, his websites and things like that. Mm-hmm. If you notice, there's a woman's name on that, and her name is Margaret. I believe it's Tolliver, and she also has a Facebook as well. But, how can you say like a front person, Mm-hmm. It was her Cash App that he had me send the money to, is what they found out. And when the search warrants were executed, she has also been implicated in what's going on here. Okay. Yeah.
So this is a incredible story. Mm. And I've never met anybody like you before in my life.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah,
I think you should teach a class on how to treat a lady. Mm. I think if people had your skill set, not as far as the skills that you derived by way of, unfortunately, selling your body. Mm-hmm. There's other negotiation skills, your follow through, your determination. Like, you really mean business.
Oh, yeah, you have to. Because the thing about it is, and then Ravel's going to say, see, you have to understand, Ravel is like Virgil's mouthpiece. So Virgil's not getting on the phone. He's, oh, man, that man is scared. And then, like, remember what you said earlier when a person says, you know, it's not funny, but Ravel said, that man is old. He's dying. You know? I said, so because people are old, they get to go out and wreak havoc on other people and treat people any kind of way. All I've dealt with since I've been, you know, since I was younger is older guys, older men.
And that's not how you treat a lady.
I mean, the thing is, you don't treat anyone like that. Right. Because the whole thing is, I don't really want to get into, you know, this or that. Because how I think about myself and how I view myself, I'm going to think that. And I'm going to view myself that way. And I could care less what other people say. You know what I mean? And so after a conversation that we had, and going back to what I tell you, when Ravel said that, oh, people are dying left and right in his family and all this type of stuff, I said, so why do you think, why would he think, why would Virgil think that, who are you to inflict that pain on someone else? I'm somebody's sister, just like your sister's in the hospital dying and you can't think straight. I'm somebody's mother. I'm somebody's daughter. So you think that was the thing to do, for you to even think something like that? Because the whole thing of it is, and I can tell you like this, in the pimp game, because Virgil likes to go around on the Shark Tank and all these different, you know, interviews and the soft white underbelly or something like that, and telling these people, oh, this gives the game a black eye. No, you gave the game a black eye. Because what gives the game a black eye is that everybody knows in that lifestyle, the game is by choice. It's never by force. And when you step into the realm of forcing, coercing, manipulating, threatening someone into doing what you want them to do, it's no longer just, oh, I got a girl working for me, it's like that. No, it's sex trafficking. It's human trafficking, because you are forcing someone to do something against their will, and you know it's against their will. You're aware it's against their will. Why? Because you have to threaten them to do it.
And see, that was, you already answered the question I was going to ask, like, because I was just like, but you're willing to sell your body. Like, you're willing to do this, but...
I was.
You was.
I was. When I initially went out to him, I was. I knew who he was. Once we talked on the phone, conversated, I looked at his Facebook, different things like that.
So, but when you changed your mind and said, I don't want to work under these terms, now you're starting to coerce me, to manipulate me.
Well, the whole thing is
force me.
Right. But you know, and that's kind of the unspoken thing. Because when I tell you, oh, this isn't going to work, I'm ready to go. That's where it should have stopped. That's where it should have ended.
When you said, take me to that airport.
That's where it should have ended. And it didn't.
So it's legal to do what you're doing.
To
sell your body.
It's not legal to have sex for money. That's a crime.
Okay.
It's also illegal to travel across state lines to do anything. So when I was with Ron sent for me to go from Texas to St. Louis
to
be with him.
Up.
From there, he was on the move, on the go a lot too. So we didn't just stay in St. Louis. We went all over. We went to Tennessee. We went to Atlanta, which is, of course, when I went to meet with Benzino. We went to Miami, a town outside of Miami. We went to just different places around Chicago. We moved around a lot, and we maybe would go back to St. Louis for about, 3-4 days at a time. You know.
Okay. And so Ron is not implicated in this at all.
Not in the state of California, no.
But
in St. Louis, yes. But that was when I told them where I was at the time, which was in California, I just think that was something that they just kind of, you know. Now, the guy did tell me on the phone, because I called his job and everything, you know, but the guy did tell me on the phone, he said, well, we don't want a person like this in our community. Because he actually lives in a very nice community. It's like St. Charles, which is one of the most upscale neighborhoods in that area, I believe. And that's what he says. He said, I'll have somebody call you back, blah, blah. Never heard nothing about it, you know.
So out of all these indictments you're bringing, you're not in trouble.
No. And when I
spoke
bitch, I
like you.
Yeah, when I spoke to the detective. Yeah, when I spoke to the detective, he said it outright. He said, I just want you to know to be open and honest with me. You know, let me know the story. Let me know what happened. You know, and I'm telling you right now, you're not...
Immunity.
Yes. And I'm glad you brought that up, because I am in a safe house location. Okay. So that's why I can't, you know, divulge information
and
on
we will never
But
ever
yeah, I'm in a
that.
safe house while all of this is going on.
Okay. Do they know you're doing an interview?
The detective?
Yeah.
Yes. So I called and spoke with him, and I asked him if it would be okay. I asked him if that would, you know, interfere, you know, and then he said no.
No, because they bottom of the barrel niggas.
Yeah, he said no.
Wow.
It wouldn't stop nothing.
Wow.
Yeah, but I did make sure to get that clearance.
Because I was going to say, girl, what the fuck? Like, how did you do it? Like, I'm inspired by you. I don't get inspired too much, but I'm incredibly inspired by your ability to play chess and win. It's like, you sitting here is like, checkmate. So Pimpin' Ken takes his ass on the Breakfast Club. It's interesting because I just had a conversation about this the other day. The Breakfast Club, just hilarious. She's supposed to be enjoying a baby, and she literally posts Tasha K, because we posted another girl who did porn, who alleged that we did her interview, that she was trafficked by Diddy. She sued Diddy. She sued Jacob the jeweler, and the interview went viral. So the Breakfast Club says to me, I have a great platform, a loyal following. Sure, I could get better caliber guests than I guess somebody that's selling their body.
That's what they said to you?
That's what they said to me. However, they have a pimp sitting on their platform, Pimpin' Ken, bragging about underage black girls and black women that they allegedly traffic, but that is a better caliber guessing. You're here to say everything that he said, partly is true, but they ain't doing it like how they claiming they doing it.
That's right. That's right.
Bitch.
That's right. And so a lot of the time, and another thing is, Miss Tasha, when it comes to women and girls and things like that, I just want them to be aware, because let's not act like the sex trade is not big business. We know it's big business. It's been big business for a very long time. The only difference is that a lot of it has moved to the internet, and not so much so just out in the open on the street. Now, if you go to places like New York, even in California, they do have, and then in Texas a while back, it was called Harry Hines. A lot of people know about that. But on the stroll, you know, or the blade, you know, not everybody moves like that, you know, anymore. But it seems like Bishop Don Juan, Pimpin' Ken, and Grandmaster Virgil, they move like that. And my whole thing is like this. If you guys are at the status that you say you're at, let's be real. I don't care who she is. Any woman going to have sex on the blade is not, that would be like crumbs to you. At the status you're at, just like I said, just like you said, did you just send him that? I mean, what's $70 to someone, quote unquote, like you?
Yeah. You're supposed to be at escort level.
What is that? But the thing about it is, and the attorney that I'm working with, Virgil has a $5 million net worth, but still, I'm just like, make it make sense. So is it really the money for you guys? Or is it the thought of degrading a woman?
If he has a $5 million net worth and they are doing a slew of interviews, why? My thing is they're charging for these podcasts. You know that, right? Like so there's this other world where they pay people like Pimpin and, Don Juan and, Virgil to sit on their podcast and tell these stories. Like Sapphire Underbelly pays his guests.
Oh.
Yeah. So they're making money off of exposing this lifestyle that's so taboo.
Wow. See, I never knew that.
Yes.
I never knew that.
Yeah. So the Breakfast Club may not have brought, like, I don't think they paid him because the Breakfast Club doesn't pay their guests, but they will fly them in and stuff like that and put them in hotels. But that is just more exposure so that they can go and charge other small podcasters money to bring them on. So they are making money now off of these stories, regurgitating
And I'm
these
sure
stories.
they've been doing that for the longest. You know what I mean? That's what they do. And the whole thing is get it how you get it. If that's what you do, I'm not here to judge. Just like, I wouldn't want people to judge me specifically, even though they do and they don't. I could care less. But I'm not here to judge them. What I'm saying is you're lying to people and you have people believing this is not what you do. This is not who you are. You're not this monster of a person, but you are. And that's the whole thing. But what I told you in the very beginning of the interview when I mentioned the lady named Kat that knows Mickey.
Yes.
Coming full circle with Ravel Romaine, which Ravel, he also did an interview with the Underbelly.
Yeah,
too.
Soft White Underbelly, yeah.
You can find him on there. But he makes a call to me and he says, remember I told you the name Honey came from when I was working under Mickey.
Right.
He called me on the phone. He said, hey, honey. And I was like, what? He's like, I can find out about you. It's not that hard. And I'm like, what? Because you have to remember, he's in Dallas County. And just to let you know, he's being held without bond only because he caught a sex offender case when, back in the day when I think he was in his 20s or something, younger girl and older.
And we're talking about Mickey.
Yeah.
Okay. So him trafficking you when you were underage is just, he gone.
That is his main charge, which that bond is set for $100,000 surety. He's being held on his second charge of the failing to follow his registered sex offender regulations. Yeah. He's being held on that without bond. So even if he somehow came up with the money to pay the $100,000 surety, he still would be held without bond.
Because that's in violation of his.
Right. So he's not going to get out until he either pleads or takes it to trial. But either way, he's going to be in there to see the whole thing through. And the thing about Ravel Romaine, full circle again, when he called me and he calls me honey, I said, there's no way you could have known that. You're all the way out of Chicago. But that's why I also kind of said that the sex trade, the sex industry and the sex trafficking is very almost cult-like in the sense that, people know certain people. You know what I mean? And so anyway, though, there's no way he could have known that I went by that name. So he has a Vietnamese, Romaine says, hold on. And he clicks in this Vietnamese or Chinese lady on the phone. And I can tell it was authentic because of the accent. It wasn't like a, fake made up play person. And she told me, she said, oh yeah, you honey. You know, I'm like, who the fuck is this? So whatever he's doing. And then I found out that Kat, you know, who's up in St. Louis, you know, is still out and about. So I said, there's no way you could have heard it from him. Maybe, maybe not. But you heard it from somebody.
And you want his ass too.
Ravel?
Yeah.
I mean, he did it to himself. You know what I mean? It's not even, I'm sorry. It's not even so much about me wanting these people. They're doing it to themselves.
Oh, shit. They just need to leave you alone.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you for that. Thank you. Yes.
Leave this lady alone. Let her sell her pussy in peace.
Look, Tasha.
Look. Damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, exclusive. Everything is out.
Yeah.
So next steps is you're just basically waiting to either go to trial or for them to plead out. But in the meantime, you know, you're kept safe and you're living your life. Are you able to see your kids and stuff?
Yes.
That's good. And you and baby daddy are on good terms?
Yes.
Okay.
As good as it's gonna get.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how are you supporting yourself?
Well, they take care of my needs.
So you got the federal government taking care of you right now, Sean?
Thank you, Tasha.
I love my job. Anything else you want to add?
No, just that, when other things happen and things like that, we're going to be talking about the Love and Hip Hop cast members
so you coming
that
back?
Were aware, absolutely, of what was going on. They were around it, they supported it, and they condoned it. Did I have a sexual interaction with them? No. But did they know what time it was and what was happening? Yes, they did.
Okay. Yeah. Honey, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
I'm drunk.
Yeah, and you treat your guests very well.
I
appreciate it.
I try.
I had a great time.
Gosh, Jesus, you have to give a business class.
Thank you.
You have to. Okay, so where can do you want people to find you and follow you or anything?
I do.
Tell them.
Empress Sierra Lawson, EMPRESS apostrophe SIERRA Lawson LAWSON. I am on Facebook, so you can find me on Facebook.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I've never been lost for words, but I think you have. I think this is probably the number one interview that we've done this year.
Wow.
Yeah, Sierra, it's like that. It's like that.
Thank you.
Cheers to you.
Cheers to that.
And all your endeavors, okay?
Yeah.
And look at that camera and say, now you got to go for now.
Bye.
Bye. Goddamn. Boom. Wow. I had no.
Wow.
Shit, I want to clock out for the rest of the day. I got work. Shit.
Wow.
That was explosive.